The following is an exclusive presentation of Jessup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO, 105.5 FM in Jessup, Big Dog Country Radio. Butch Everett here with you along with Bob Morgan on this Monday morning. It is the 14th day of January. It's now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear, by Murphy Builder Supply, Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jessup. Also in downtown Jessup, the Women's Health Center, and by Wolf Animal Hospital on West Cherry Street. Good morning, Bob. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Did you enjoy the ball games over the weekend?
I did.
They were pretty good games, weren't they?
Yeah, got 3 out of 4 right, so that's good.
That's good. And I think, if I remember hearing correctly, you've got the number 1 and 2 seeds from both AFC and NFC that are playing. So you got the top ones there.
Yeah. Top 4 offenses this year all advanced, so should be fun this weekend.
It should be fun. I would probably give New England the edge if they were playing there in Boston, but now they're playing in Kansas City. They say Kansas City atmosphere is kind of like a college football game at Kansas City, with the tailgating and everything that goes on there. They say it's the closest thing that you'll find to college football atmosphere is at Kansas City.
It's live, that's for sure. It's going to be, whoever makes it's going to be great storylines no matter who gets there. But, most people are hoping for that Brady-Breeze matchup, two of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Right. So it'd be interesting to see those two. But I'm sure Kansas City and the Rams will have something to say about that this weekend. So it's going to be interesting. Should be a fun weekend. But, Atlanta looking forward to the Super Bowl in February.
New England looked precision. I guess that's the word you can call it, precision. Those first four possessions they had, it was just boom, boom, boom. The first drive took half of the first quarter.
For all the teams that got the buys, looked fresh, looked sharp.
They did,
so that week off actually helps tremendously. So.
Yeah. And who was that tight end? It wasn't Gronk. Gronk was doing mainly blocking. Who was that big tight end that was, I guess he was tight end, that was making all those great receptions for New England? Had the mustache. He's not tight end?
No, that's Edelman.
Now, what position does he play?
He's wide receiver.
He's a wide. He looks big to be a wide receiver, but whatever he was making some good passes. Some good receptions, and then not only making good receptions, he's big enough that he can, once he catches it, he can just plow forward too.
Good to see Sonny Michel have a big day, 3 touchdowns. So it was good to see him play well.
And our Georgia guy, Gurley, had a good weekend.
Yeah. Gurley and Anderson. I don't know what happened to Cowboys defense, but they couldn't stop the running game.
They couldn't, could they? We'll talk about that in a little bit right now, but we do have a guest in here this morning here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, Rob Patton from Wayne County High School. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning.
I ran into Rob somewhere over the weekend.
Saturday at the Upward Basketball.
Oh, yeah, at Upward Basketball, the Upward Basketball, the Basketball Youth League, Church Youth League, and ran into Rob there. And Rob, of course, puts on the mini Comic-Con at Wayne County High School. What actually do you teach at Wayne County High School, Rob? I'm
a history teacher. I can teach all social studies, but my favorite's world history. I teach 10th graders primarily. Mm-hmm. I'm teaching honors world history and AP world history this year, and loving it. It's one of the. It just keeps getting better and better. I tell you, this teaching at Wayne County High has been one of the unexpected pleasures of my life.
Okay.
Really.
Now, how did you get involved with the putting on the mini Comic-Con and things of that sort at Wayne County High School?
Wow, that's interesting because we had a teacher who started a anime club for kids that like Japanese art and, and comics, the anime, and things like comics, pretty much. And she was moving, and she came to me. She said, I talked to my kids. I don't want to leave them hanging. They'd like you to take over being a sponsor of this club. So I said, well, I don't know much about it. I used to watch Speed Racer when I was a kid. That's about all I know about it. But,
so you weren't a big gamer growing up.
I was a gamer, but not so much into anime. And that's the next phase is I introduced games to the club because I figured, look, this is kind of a, small group. So what about some games to, some D&D, Magic the Gathering was a card game that was real popular. And all these things kind of cross over. So I introduced gaming. It became the Games and Anime Club, which we shortened to, we kind of acronym for it, GAMMA. Mm-hmm. And so I've been, we've seen every year for the past, I guess it's been about 6-7 years now, we've seen a good 30-40 kids be interested in some way and members of the club. Because since then, it did expand the base a little bit. Some of these gamers are competitive. All of them had video gaming in their background, but I was really intent on trying to move them away from single-player video gaming to a social tabletop gaming. And that's been my focus in the Gamma Club. We needed a place to highlight that, so we came up with and to give the kids a way to outreach to the public. You've had me on before talking about our Minicon, like you just mentioned, and Minicon has been a very successful annual event, brings anywhere from 100 to 200 people from the community out to the campus every year in October usually, and that's a place where they can share all their interests, raise money for their club, raise money for charity. We traditionally support the Angel Tree for Fairhaven and a suicide prevention program. And we really, the kids love it because they're relevant. And as I said before, video gaming has not been a focus of the club until this year. Something changed.
Y'all, you've taken that, and there's a reason why we have you on here. We've talked about that before, but I never knew that video gaming, you put a team together. Is it 5?
Right, we've got
five, and you compete against other high schools in a particular game. What's the name of the game?
The game they're playing is League of Legends.
League of Legends this year, and so our 5 gamers will play 5 gamers from another school, and you don't do it at the same school. You just do it online from your own lab there, and so they're whatever high school it may be. Their 5 gamers are sitting in their lab. Our 5 guys are sitting in their lab. And our 5 guys have got to fight them on the battlefield as a team. That's what you were trying to do.
That's right.
Not how good of a gamer is. You got to fight as a team. You're like a mini army out there, taking on their mini army, and you fight against each other, and the winner moves on. So, what level are our students at Wayne County High School at right now in terms of advancing in this competition?
Well, in the GHSA sanctioned sport, we are in the Sweet 16.
We're in the Sweet 16.
That's right. We're one of the top.
So you had
16 teams
2 levels so far.
We've competed. There were 64 entering the tournament, and this is after regular season play. This is all playoffs play. So out of 83 teams who were in regular season play, the top 64 played a series of matches, 32 matches that were single elimination. We made it through that. The same day, 2 hours later, we played the top 32 teams remaining, played another single elimination, 16 matches, and we won that match. So that means we are one of 16 teams in the state of Georgia that will now go to best 2 out of 3 play in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 and going on. Now, as that whittles down to 2 top teams, those 2 teams will go to some location yet to be determined, probably depending on the winners. And those 2 top teams will play at a special event.
Actually, at an event in person instead of online.
That's correct.
Okay, yeah. And once again, the name, the game they're playing this year to compete in is
League of Legends.
League of Legends, which is basically a battlefield war type of game, isn't it?
Right. It's a 5-on-5 game where you fight for control of the board. It is team play. Everybody has a specific role, and it is something that has been around for quite a while. It's a free online game. It's not something that we had to do a whole lot, jump through a lot of hoops to get on our computers. Thanks to Jim Neesmith and the crew there at the technical crew there at the high school, we have had a lot of support, and we're apparently our technology is just as good as we need it to be for this year.
Does each of the 5 competitors for our high school and the other high school, are they all sitting in front of their own screen?
That's right.
With their own keyboard.
That's right.
And everything.
Yes.
And so they see the battlefield just like their cohorts do and the competition does. And I know that one of the things that you were talking about when we talked Saturday morning is you've got to teach those 5 great gamers how to compete as a team.
Right. That speaks to the difference between this game and other video games I've seen in the past. And traditionally, one of the most popular forms of video gaming is first-person shooters, which I'm not a big fan of just because they're solo play. And of course, my goal is to bring out the ability of students to work together and to learn, all the discipline and social skills that it takes to work as a team. Well, this game, each of those 5 players has a specific role. They each see their own view of the battlefield, and they have to be able to communicate and work together. When they first entered the first matches, I noticed that, as any kids will do, they tend to focus on what communication they do, communicating with the other people on the team they know best.
Right.
So as the season's progressed, what I feel my job as a coach has been to shake that up and to get them communicating effectively with each other and working together as a team. And they've really not disappointed me. They've really come through on that. They're working together really well.
How do they communicate with each other? Do they have earpieces in, or I know they're probably just not yelling at each other back and forth across the.
As a matter of fact, they are. But
they are.
That's very exciting.
So you got them. Do you have one guy that really gets on to another one for not doing their job?
That's
in
right.
Their particular thing? Do you have a captain?
We've got
sort?
2 co-captains, and they are Samir Alam and Derek Candelaria.
Okay, let's go ahead and mention the 5 players that you have.
We got Jack Ogden, Derek Candelaria, Justin Bull, Samir Alam, and Seth Sellers. Those are our top of the. Now we also have 2 alternates, J.D. Young and Blaine Young.
Okay.
And those 2 are our alternates, and so those are our 7 team members, and we're able to field a team anytime. Now, if we don't have our top 5, it shows.
When does an alternate come in? Like when one of the guys gets carpal tunnel?
Right. Well,
when does an alternate come in?
This year we've had to bring in the alternates when when life invades, when there's a band concert and somebody can't make it.
So that's the reason why you have that.
Yeah,
right.
We have to be able to play, or we'll forfeit. So we've won one game by forfeit during the season and one during the during the playoffs.
Now, how did you pick these top 5 guys and the 2 alternates to be able to compete in this state playoff action through all the high schools in the state of Georgia?
Well, our team is formed out of Gamma Club members. So rather than being run through the athletic department, at the advice of my good friend and supervisor, Dr. Craig Davis, he said, this is something that the Gamma Club can benefit from, and he's absolutely right. So we say, first of all, you got to be a Gamma member and pay your dues there, and then out of those people in the Gamma Club, those people who know the game best, who've played it best, and are ranked well within the game. The game itself has its own ranking system, so we're able to see how experienced the players are and how suitable they'll be to face off against.
Now, in the League of Legends, is that like a medieval game, or is it a modern game? What is it?
It's kind of a mashup, Bob. It's got characters.
Butch. That's
I'm
Bob.
sorry, Butch.
People do that all the time.
It's kind of a mashup, Butch. The characters there's a host of characters they call champions that you unlock as you play the game, and they are based on archetypes from all over the board. They're, you got a Wild West character, you've got a robot
Wow.
characters.
So it's a whole.
You got all these different sci-fi, fantasy, or
All in one
comic
game
book
competing against each other.
that can play on the board. That's right. And one of the most exciting, interesting parts of the game is during the first 10 minutes of the game, each team takes turns banning champions from the other team and choosing champions. So each player gets a chance to tell the other team what they can't play.
Oh, wow.
And then choose their own from what's left. So that's kind of you get what's called target banning, where if the other team has a really good player that typically plays one or two specific champions, they'll ban that player from being able to play their favorite.
Right.
And that's one strategy of dealing with a really good player on the opposite team. There's a lot of strategy in the game, and a lot of it depends on board position and timing. It's a very closely timed game. Each match runs about 30, 40 minutes. Typically,
How do you win the game?
Well, you win the game by taking positions on the board, towers, if you will, or positions, and then finally the enemy's home base.
So you basically take their flag.
You take their flag. It's kind of a capture the flag.
Yeah. And if someone says, you can always text in questions and comments to our regular business line. The text should pop up here on our computer screen. They usually do. It says, "I've heard it all. Gamma Club. Really?" Now, once again, tell folks how the Gamma name came together once again.
That's an acronym for Games, Anime, and Multimedia Alliance. So,
right. So put it all together in one name.
Right. This is a club that serves the purpose of taking kids who aren't interested in any of the other things that we're doing at the school, traditional things, and feeding an interest that already exists in arts and pop culture, but also trying to help kids learn how to go through that in a healthy way and to do it together as a group.
They're learning team concepts. It just happens to be in a video game because they're playing as a team. If you had, just them doing their own thing, they would get beat. You have to teach them as a coach how to play as a team. Each one play their own role, and you have captains who help the other ones do their best during the game.
Well, there's all of that technical aspect of it to succeed and to compete. Part of the purpose of the club is also to develop good character and good social skills, and to really get kids into what's going on campus, to give them a place on campus so they can feel proud and really bring. I think the GHSA element of this allows them to bring honor and notoriety, but fame to their school if they do well. So I think that's what we've seen. WTOC did a story last week. I heard word from my sister up North Georgia that WSB has mentioned our team. This is something that
So we're getting some out-of-town recognition from WTOC television and a television station in Atlanta, too.
Right. And
with our team here from Wayne County competing in this high school event.
And when the kids know that what they do is noticed and matters, it changes their perspective on it. And when they know that they can do it as the Wayne Train, which is the name of our team, have to thank teacher Katie Ward for that moniker. She came up with that, and we've enjoyed but the kids, when they know that they represent their fellow students and that they are not just competing for themselves but for their school, it makes a big difference to them.
The 7 players that you have, the 5 starters and the 2 alternates, does that represent all classes, or more of them seniors or freshmen, or what?
Good question. We've got 3 sophomores. Out of all 7 of the players, we've got 3 sophomores, got 2 seniors, and a junior. That's 6. So we have 4 sophomores. So mostly sophomores, counting the alternates. But our Our top players are our eldest players.
And so this is a state high school sanctioned event that's been going on for a while. Is this the Wayne County's first competing in this competition?
Yes, and it is new to the whole GHSA.
New to
this
the whole.
Is the first time the state has had the GHSA sponsorship of this, although it's not the first time schools, and by that I mean colleges, have done it. The colleges have esports leagues. Many of them offer scholarships. There are about 200 plus scholarship programs for esports students for colleges across the nation.
Okay.
So there are 4 states that the technical sponsor for this is Play Versus, and they are a group out of California. Really interesting group, run by a young man who's done quite well through it. But he's opened up this through GHSA. GHSA is choosing the games for content and suitability. Play Versus sets it up technically, and they're doing it in 4 different states. I know Connecticut, New Jersey, Georgia, and one other can't think of.
When the Georgia High School Association decided to add this as a competitive event that they would oversee, is that when y'all decided to join in? We got Rob Patton here, a teacher at Wayne County High School. Is this when y'all decided to join in?
That's right. Craig Davis is actually the one who saw it on the GHSA newsletter, said to me, hey, this is something that Gamma Club might be interested in. You might want to check this out. And as soon as I did, I said, now this is something that several of our club members are going to be interested in. Okay. And I knew also a friend of mine has a son that's on the esports team at Georgia Southern, and so I knew this is something that they were aware of, and it's something that could serve some of them as they went on past high school.
Okay, Bob Patton here, Wayne County High School teacher, and basically the coach of the Gamma competitors here as they're trying to. You went from 64, now you're down to 16. When do y'all compete again, Rob?
Well, our real match to make or break, I think, in many ways, we're looking at it that way, is tomorrow. This is our matchup against Mount DeSalle out of Macon area. They entered the playoffs top ranked, so they're number 1 out of the 16, out of the remaining 16.
Now, how do they go in as the top ranked when this is the first year this the High School Association has sanctioned the event?
Top ranked in regular season play.
So
we had we had rankings that we followed all through the season.
Okay.
We had 6 match days throughout the season, and each one of those match days we'd play 2 matches. So we've had 12 regular season games. And after each of those, they recalculate the rankings. At one point, really have to say I'm really proud of these guys. At one point, we were number 6 in the state. We were missing one of our top seeds one day, and we slipped down to number 17. So we entered into the playoffs at number 17. But we believe we're better than that, and we believe that tomorrow will show. We'll play 2 out of 3 against Mount DeSalle.
2 out of 3.
And we have a strategy, and they have a strategy, and we'll see who can come out after 3 games.
Okay, so they will be in their lab at their high school. Y'all will be in the lab at Wayne County High School. Y'all will be sitting in front of 5 computers. They'll be sitting in front of 5 computers. The game will start, and then whoever wins the first game, and then the second game, if you split, you'll play the third, and then that team will advance on to the Elite 8, I guess.
That is correct.
This is absolutely amazing, and I guess the guys that are competing in this must be very excited about it. I guess when you went to them and said, this is a Georgia High School Association sanctioned event, and we're going to compete in it, they must have been really excited, and then you had tryouts and you got your top 7.
That's fairly well tracks the exact way it happened. We were able to see how well they played each position. The game that's got 5 positions, they've got their favorite positions.
It's like a basketball team. You got 5 players.
It's very similar. It is very similar in the way that the strategies and the way that it works out to basketball, because you do have court position matters, and in this case, the goal would be the enemy's home base. So.
Okay, League of Legends and the game they're playing, and so you're doing this and having fun. I know that you mentioned when we were talking Saturday morning that perhaps maybe next year or something like that you can actually, when we're competing in state playoff action, you can actually have maybe the game up on a big screen so you can see how our guys are competing against somebody else. You could have like an event there. You could have folks sit around and watch it and cheer their team on.
It's done in other places, Butch, and I think that will add a great dimension to it. I talked to Jim Neesmith, our IT head, and he said it wouldn't be a problem. He said we already have the technology to do it, and by the time that next Minicon rolls around in October, and that'll be during regular season play for the 2019-2020 season, we hope to pilot that there at Minicon, so that by the time January and the playoffs roll around, we'll be able to maybe have some spectators. But it wouldn't be that hard, according to him, to go ahead and project screens, any of the players' screens, onto a large screen. So
okay, well, good, Bob. I'm not really a gamer. I know you're not either, but it is a competitive an event for Wayne County High School. Do you have any questions or comments? Because I had a lot for Rob.
I'm just curious, any officials involved?
The officials are they're online, they're watching, and so Play Versus officiates.
Any controversies like in baseball and basketball?
Yeah, we have had controversies. The biggest.
What would be a controversy?
This year, the biggest controversy that keeps cropping up is field position, because when you have your choice of which side you're taking, home, whether it's the bottom side of the screen or the top side of the screen, there seems to be a difference in the players' minds about the advantage there, and they have their favorite side. And for many of the games, Play Versus had it so that the first team to join the game remotely, we join the game, they give a code at 4 o'clock and at 6 o'clock for each game. They send out a code through Discord server, which is the online communication program they use. They send out that code, and we plug that code in just as fast as we can so we can get our choice, kind of like the coin toss, on field position. There was discussion. The controversy was that some of the teams felt like, since they were higher ranked, higher seed, that they should have field position, and they're actually going to play it that way for the rest of the games. Okay. So, for instance, tomorrow on Tuesday, Mount DeSalle will get field position choice on the first game and the third game if we play a third game.
Okay. And once again, just in case folks tuned in, it's a competitive event. We're playing League of Legends. We got 7 guys from the Gamma Club at Wayne County High School. They've advanced from the 64 teams down to the Sweet 16. They'll be playing tomorrow. And if they win there, they'll go to the Elite 8. It is a Georgia High School Association sanctioned event. They'll be playing League of Legends. You got 5 players for Wayne County High School. They'll be playing 5 players for the other team from the Macon area. And once again, just in case folks tuned in, please tell us the name of the students that are participating in this event and that are they're on this team.
We've got, let's see, we've got Jack Ogden, Seth Sellers, J.D. Young, Blaine Young, and we've got Justin Bull and Derek Candelaria and Samir Alam.
Okay, so those are the 7 players. You got the 5 starters and the 2 alternates that will be there tomorrow. What time do y'all play tomorrow?
Our first game is at 4 o'clock, so
okay.
It'll be right after school. And I'm not sure exactly what the break will be between matches, but we'll play the second match, soon after. How
long does a match usually go?
Typically about 30 minutes.
About 30 minutes.
The longest one that I've ever heard of, not in high school league play, but in all, the longest one ever I've heard is about 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
I don't expect any of these will go that long. The longest one we've played has been about 40 minutes.
Okay. It's amazing. I never knew that the kids can go to certain colleges on scholarship to compete in this. If they're really good at it, they can get a scholarship just like a football or baseball player, right?
Yes, Butch. What really opened my eyes about it is one day I turned over to ESPN and I saw the national championships for what game they were playing. Smash Brothers National Championship, and so that's another popular game. There's a variety of games that are being featured in various places as esports. Originally, when Craig Davis told me about this, he said, I think it's EA Sports. I think they're playing Madden and things like that. And in some places they do play Madden and other EA Sports, which are actually video games based on sports. But the most typical ones I've heard of have been the one I just mentioned, which is, of course, Smash Brothers, and then this one, League of Legends. One, they're adding two, actually. We're starting a new season. There's a spring season as well, and it'll start in February. They're adding, GHSA is adding Rocket League, which is basically soccer in cars. It's a soccer game when you're in cars. And then Smite, which is very similar in many ways to League of Legends.
Okay, which is a big battlefield that they play.
And I noticed on some web searches last night, Overwatch was a popular one that people were playing in esports. But it's a decision that the GHSA made together with Play Versus as to which sports they were, which games they were going to play in the competitive play. I would like to see them add more of the sports-based games, because I think you'll get a lot more players. I already have two people who've come to me and said, I'd like to be involved. They're Gamma members who would like to play Rocket League next semester and be in our team, in our league.
So you got Battlefield, things like League of Legends, like dealing like that, and Smash. But then you also have regular sports. We're about out of time here. Rob Patton here from Wayne County High School heads up the Gamma Club at Wayne County High School, and 7 of their members are competing in competition here for League of Legends. They've gone from 64. They're in the Sweet 16 now. They'll play tomorrow. Rob, keep us updated on how the team does. We'd like to pass that information along, okay?
I will, and I thank you for your time on it, because this is one of those things that really serves kids who aren't as athletic or into traditional sports, but they're competitive and they want to represent Wayne County High.
Someone just texted in that says, gaming is a multi-million-dollar thing. Glad to see the Wayne County High School training people for these careers.
Great.
Okay.
We are very proud to be able to do it.
All right. Take care, Rob.
Thank you, Butch.
Right.
Thank you.
105.5 FM in Jessup, Big Dog Country Radio, world famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by the Wolf Animal Hospital on West Cherry Street, by Murphy Builder Supply in downtown Jessup on Northeast Broad Street, by Mike Bridge Ford in Blackshear, and also brought to you by the Women's Health Center in downtown Jessup on Cherry at Broad Street.
The world famous Butch and Bob Show.